while you're all interning, I want to know what is maybe one challenge you've all faced while interning?
Time management. I mentioned earlier perfectionism. I wanted to do well, and I didn't know this was perfectionism. I just wanted to do well. And what I thought that meant was working overtime and never doing self care. I thought it meant creating the best thing any intern has ever created. And while that experience did impress people, I had to ask myself, is this honestly worth spending majority of my time over instead of like all the other things, that are part of life? And the answer for me was no. You can be great during your 8-hour shift and still get a return offer and a glowing review. And again, this might be specific to a tech job, so take it with a grain of salt. But my rule of thumb is if I'm enjoying myself, I can stay, but it's so damaging to your mind and body to do more if you don't want to. If it's something that's taking you more than 8 hours, you need to tell your manager that it's too much. I see people do this all the time without realizing it, and they're worrying about finishing their work, and it's not worth it. You kind of have to eat well, exercise, meditate to like get rid of stress, and yeah, it has an effect whether you think it's working or not.
I guess I'll talk about one when I was a production intern, only because I'm going into a field that I'm not familiar with. Very fast-paced environment. They're seriously not kidding. You have to help like sometimes 6 staff in like 2 minutes. So it's really a lot of work. How did I get better at it? Honestly, I just stopped comparing myself because everyone else was coming from these great schools, great experiences, and then me having to like go up there too. So I think that over time, I just built onto my confidence. I spoke to my mentor that I had back from Barcelona. She was supportive still to this day. So then, but I asked for help. It was okay. It was okay to let your supervisor know, hey, I don't know how to do X, Y, and Z, but I'm willing to learn. I want to learn. Duh, that's why I'm here. So over time, it gotten better, and I feel like sometimes as an intern, we try so hard to be like impressive that we don't want to show that we don't know something. And that's something that I was guilty of. I was just like, oh my God, I don't want them to know this. I have to figure this out on my own. Let me go on Google, search it up. But it's okay to show again that you are human. You could be impressive, but you're allowed to make mistake to a certain extent though. But well, how are you going to go about making those mistakes? Are you going to learn from it, or are you just going to continue to do it and not care? So it's just really about how you go about those challenges that you're facing. So it's just a smart idea to just be yourself, work on it. It's okay to have a challenge. That's why you're there. That's why they picked you. You will experience challenges in an internship. It's just going to happen. So don't even try to avoid it. Don't. You will experience it, and you should, as you should. You're there to learn again. So it's okay. And I've experienced it a lot, but I'm so happy that I didn't try to hide it. And yeah, I was able to teach myself. I was able to ask questions, and yeah, move on from all those terrifying, don't be that intern, yeah, nonsense.
Yeah, I would agree with Diana. I feel like as an intern, you're really trying to prove your point and say, hey, look, I can do everything, right? So I'm so guilty of that. I like to sign up for and overcommit myself, thinking I can do everything. Like they're like, hey, who would volunteer for this? I'm the first one to raise my hand. So I would say a challenge I had was, signing up and overcommitting myself, even though, I need a time for that self and mental break that Lena mentioned. So how I dealt with it was being able to prioritize my time and hey, this is what I have to do by this time. And if I have time, maybe I'll help out. But I guess just being able to prioritize, hey, this is your must have. Like you have to do this. And then if you have additional time, you'll work on this and just being able to, commit to what you can actually finish because I'm so guilty of just saying yes to everyone. And then I end up either sleeping for 4 hours or not having lunch. So, being able to really find a balance because obviously you want to perform to, leave on a good note and potentially get a full-time offer as well. But being able to put yourself first as well, because at the end of the day, your mental health, your physical health matters as well.
That's a great point, and I think that's especially even just as important now when we're all a majority of us living at work in a sense. And Alina, I definitely have to follow your advice on some of those things, especially. And I think for me, time management, of course, is a big one. What was different for my first two internships, I realized it was during the summer when I wasn't in class, I wasn't doing anything else. So for me, I was able to fully immerse myself in those internships. But once I started my current internship at Fox, it was a different and complete different experience for me. Also, not only interning, but being a full-time student on the side and then also having another job on the side. So trying to figure out, okay, how do I prioritize my time? How do I get everything done to make sure, especially as a graduating senior, to make sure I'm going to graduate on time, to make sure that I'm going to get all of my priorities in order. The time management really is a big one. So I will say shout out to Google Calendar for that one because that's really what keeps me sane.
Make sure to check out the My Career tab on the BC Navigator app, where you can track your career progress based on the amount of credits you've earned, stay updated on upcoming events from the Magner Center, and watch our videos for insight and advice on your career field.